So yeah, that now is all I want to address across the league and of course the tournament and the players to watch and all that kinds of stuff. Now, lastly, most importantly for us, coming back to LA and talking about the squads that we have here. We talked a little bit about the Lakers and Clippers a couple of days ago. Want to give more of an in-depth review of what's going on with them. The Lakers currently sit at 3-2, winning their last two, including that Battle of LA finally versus the Clippers. LeBron has kind of shunned his minutes restriction and is going out and doing his best efforts. We're always required of him. AD looks to be getting at least close to that elite top tier form that we all had hoped he would be. He shows his flashes plenty, but there are some down moments that we still hope that he can work out. And yeah, just I think it is still a very positive start to the season for us. What are your first thoughts after this first week of Laker basketball?
Yeah, a little bit of what we talked about on the last step, just still figuring things out offensively. Like it seems like things have been a little bit difficult on that end of the floor as far as the flow and creating easier shot attempts. It seems like we've had to work harder for good looks, but I think this team has a solid amount of depth. They're figuring out that rotation there, and they've had a couple guys also like miss some games too. Like Vanderbilt hasn't played at all this year
Right.
yet, and Rui has been out a couple games after he got injured his eye in one of
Right.
those games early. And now Gabe Vincent is going to be out for a couple to a few weeks, but they've got some depth here, figuring out the rotation. Austin Reeves still like getting his feet underneath him. As I mentioned, maybe a little bit of pressure from the new contract and all that, but seems like it could just be like just a tough stretch that you go through sometimes as a player. And I think he'll refine like what he had last season to end the season as being a crucial third scorer for this Lakers team. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think overall, not too high, not too low on them. Like I think they're I don't want to overreact to really anything that they've done so far, but I think it was definitely a solid win to kind of get the monkey off their back, winning against the Clippers in this last one.
I mentioned the men's restriction that LeBron's kind of shunned. Does that bother you at all? Love it, hate it? How you feel about the restriction that he has right now? That they're trying
Yeah,
to have for him right now?
yeah. It seems like the restriction is just like a suggestion. Really, it's not a
Yeah.
restriction. It's like because like it's a restriction, but I feel like that only works if you're like dominating games, like
Right.
because he's supposed to play these 30 to 32 minutes or whatever it is, but then it's a close game in the fourth, and they're like, we kind of need LeBron to close. Yeah, so we're not
Uh,
just gonna sit LeBron in closing minutes because he's only supposed to play 30 minutes or whatever. So um it's a loose thing, and I understand why they have it there, as we talked about with his age and uh him having these nicks and bruises the last couple seasons that have forced him to miss time. But I don't know how closely they're going to be able to follow that while they're still kind of gaining their footing, like as a squad, because they do have several players from the previous team, but there are several new players as well too that they're working into the system as well. So I feel like you kind of need to find your rhythm as a team before you can just like have LeBron load manage in that way and only playing a limited amount of minutes.
correct. I agree with that as well. You just got to figure out another way to pace him. I wouldn't go full load management in regards to sitting him during lesser team games, if that makes sense. But yeah, there's got to be a way to manage things. Hopefully, he understands that as well. Like, hey, like we want to make sure we make the run at the end. Like, yes, game 3 versus the Pistons, you want to make sure you win it, but we don't want to wear you out to get that done. So yeah, hopefully we can find a better pace as the season goes along, and he isn't overexerted in the process. So yeah, we'll see how that plays. Also, with LeBron, we saw after the Clipper game, I think it was, or the game before that, LeBron was in the media responding to somebody saying AD doesn't care about the outside noise. Should AD care about the noise and what folks have to say, or just how we look to see AD improve as things go along, regardless of if he is listening to folks or not?
Yeah, I was gonna say with the LeBron discussion that we just had in the last question, I think part of lightening LeBron's load is playing more through AD, and maybe that's a bit more of a challenge because like AD is not the on the ball guy, like LeBron is the de facto point guard at times, and so the ball is going to go through his hands, and you have to run sets to like get to AD as the big.
Right.
But I think that can be part of lightening LeBron's load is really emphasizing playing through AD more in crunch time too as well, instead of having him float a bit. But I think AD, it's a positive. It's more of a positive than a negative to quiet the outside noise and not really focus on that and just focus on you and your game. I think it's something where he's got to be aware, even if he's not on social media, that people are going to be heavily critical of him as the superstar and a
Exactly.
Laker and playing next to LeBron.
Agreed.
So at times it's felt like that's not been enough for him, like not enough motivation for him because he's given us like puzzling performances in the past, in terms of the great night one night and then the down night the next, and the motor not seeming to be there some nights. But I haven't seen that as much this year, and I hope that's a trend that continues. And I think if it's best for him to just focus on him and not pay attention to any of the outside noise at all, any of the criticisms, and just only measure him against himself, I think that's perfectly fine for him to do.
Right. Yeah. I think how he's approaching it is a healthy way for him to do it. Obviously, we are not in his shoes, so we don't know how that pressure could be. But yeah, I think once you start letting all the outside noise in, with how much noise being in that purple and gold brings, it could be overwhelming for anybody, regardless of the stature of LeBron, AD, or whoever. So going by as he does, it is fine as is, and we just hope that he smooths things out as things go along and can be the guy that carries the torch as we all hoped he would be. You still have that thought about him going forward that he's the guy that carries the torch, or you think you just look right now just to what he is in the moment and we'll figure that out later on?
I think like I have to see it more this year. Like if he continues to show it this year, I would say so. But to this point, it still feels like LeBron has the keys. Like he wants to give AD the keys, but it still feels like LeBron ultimately has the keys. So if we can see that shift to where AD is the go-to guy this season, I'll be more on board with him being the cornerstone of the franchise for years to come going forward.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll say I fully shifted my thought, but I've stopped even trying to look forward to that. Like I'm like, he has shown that he's going to be what he is right now.
Yeah.
He's going with LeBron. LeBron's still going to be here for a year or two, maybe we'll see. But if LeBron's going to be around, we don't got to worry about passing the torch right now. So let him be whatever role he's going to be with LeBron still in the building. And when that time comes, if we have to adjust, we'll adjust. And people have already written him off for many folks out here. So if it happens, and so be it. If not, he has shown that he may have enough there to carry it when the time comes. But I haven't even looked enough myself forward to when that may be, because LeBron continues to show that he will be around for some time. So yeah, we'll see how all that goes. But for now, with it being what it is, either way, these guys are 1 and 2. In regards to our third piece, we're still trying to figure out exactly who that is. You think it's D'Lo right now with how he stepped up? Is AR or Austin Reeves the guy right now? Who what do you think about the fight for the third spot in the Lakers hierarchy right now?
Yeah, right now it's been more D'Lo than Reeves. Like I said, Reeves has been struggling a bit to start the season. D'Lo is he'll give you those 25 some nights, those 30 some nights, and then
he'll flash that all-star greatness every once in a while.
Yeah, like he'll flash it, but it's not consistent, but he will flash it though. And so he definitely can on a lot of nights be that third scorer.
Yeah.
But like we talked about, I think it's seeming like he's a player that's not necessarily going to be here for the duration of the season on the Lakers squad.
People keep saying that, because I also hear within the organization, the players, as this picture shows, it's an old picture or whatever, folks keep saying, oh, D'Lo keeps talking to me and I appreciate what he says to me. Oh, D'Lo keeps talking to me and I appreciate his leadership this year.
Right,
D'Lo really is working. People are saying that D'Lo's putting the work in to show that he's growing his game, he's growing mentally, all that kind of stuff. But it's still from the outside, like people are all like, oh no, we're still done with him. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Like I'm cool with him being here for right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it too. I think it's more so about like his contract being a friendly one, and if they want to make the move for like that more, I guess, solidified third piece for themselves,
Uh-huh.
that he would probably be the one to make that move. Not necessarily that they're in a rush to get rid of him, kind of thing, but just that like contract wise and everything. If
5 games in, who you even see as that potentially being? Like you see anybody around the league like we should go keep an eye on him and get
no,
him?
no, not 5 games in, but that's more of a trade
No,
deadline
no,
kind
no,
of
no.
thing.
I'm not for him. I'm saying for you in general. Are you
Oh,
seeing anyone across the league that you're saying we should go keep an eye on him to be that guy potentially? Are you seeing anybody that would be that somewhere else?
uh, not necessarily, not necessarily. I feel like it's the season is still young, so there's no one really that jumps out to me right now. But like we talked about with teams like the Raptors or like the Bulls or whatever, that like maybe having a fire sale later.
Mm-hmm.
There are guys potentially on those teams that could be of interest for the Lakers to add for sure. So yeah,
Okay. So yeah, I couldn't really think of that either. I wasn't really not really jumping anymore at the DeMar pairing and all that kind of
Demar,
stuff.
no, yeah, not necessarily
So
Demar, yeah, but
yeah, like I said, I'm cool with this roster as it is, and hope that the other guys continue to step up as need be. Excuse me. Speaking of which, moving around, folks have their jokes. I made a little joke about it myself, but seeing the rise of the guys like Cam Reddish, who started in the Clippers game, and seeing the rise of guys like Christian Wood, who's elevated his game recently as well. What do you think about the fourth and fifth and just the rest of the roster? You kind of already alluded to it, but just directly, are you impressed with what you're seeing from the other guys from this Lakers squad?
yeah, I mean it's I guess kind of what you expect from role players like of that stature. Like we've got some really great performances. Like Torian Prince has had 2 or 3 like great shooting nights, and then
Yeah.
2 really not good nights. So it's like you kind of the inconsistency you'll get from role players of that stature. I think Christian Wood. I'm interested to see like what his role is, especially when everyone is healthy. Like when Rui's healthy, when Vanderbilt's healthy as well. The type of minutes he gets, because Christian Wood, like when he gets more minutes, like he does produce as far as scoring and getting boards as well.
People have
And
said
he
they
was
want him to start. Do you think he should start?
I'd be fine with that. I think he's a nice pairing next to AD, and allows AD to play more of a four that he kind of wants to.
All right.
And Wood had a couple of huge defensive plays in that Clippers game down the stretch that kind of helped us win that game, and a dunk to cap it off. But yeah, I'm just kind of interested to see like how Darvin Ham like maneuvers like this roster and utilizes these guys, because there's definitely a plethora of guys on this roster that can plug and play and be impactful for this team. So yeah.
Got it. So yeah, so I see how everything plays out. I do like the role players that we have right now. Yeah, definitely do want to see improvement from some guys that we said we haven't quite seen. The game from Gabe Vincent and others that we would have liked, but
Right.
he's injured and trying to get his stuff together. But from those that are on the court right now, they're putting up some valiant efforts, and we'll see if we continue to build on that going forward. So good things there. A good decent start to the season, 3-2. I'm cool with that. Looking forward to see how things built up. In that, we come back each week and talk about the Lakers, of course, as we do. So by this time next week, we'll have had 3 games played. The Kings on Sunday, the Magic on Monday, and the Clippers on Wednesday. How do you think we'll be after those 3?
That was the 3 from this past week.
Oh, what is
The
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I did read
Kings.
that. I read that backwards. My bad.
Yeah, the
The
Kings
next
Magic.
3, next 3 are oh yeah. Sorry, that switched up.
You're good. You're good.
I don't know where I even put that. Okay, my bad. So actually, our next 3 would be the Magic tomorrow or
Mhm.
today. By the time you guys watch this Saturday night, the Heat on Monday in Miami,
Mhm.
then the Rockets in Houston on Wednesday, and then we'll be back on the day of their in-season tournament game on Friday the 10th versus the Suns. But by then, Magic, Heat, Rockets, how it would be after those 3?
It should be 3-0. The game I could see them losing is that Heat one.
Okay.
But it's hard to beat a team uh, twice like that quickly as far as the Magic. But I think they do beat the Magic. I think they're a better overall team than them.
Only won by
Uh,
3 last time. Is
exactly.
there a chance that we let them get those 3 points somehow?
There's a chance. It's on the road as well too, I believe you
Yeah,
said. So
yeah.
there's a chance for sure. And they've quietly been a decent squad too to start the season. But yeah, so I'll say like 2-1 through those 3 games because one of those teams could get them, but
Got it.
I don't think they'll
There's-
lose to the Rockets.
Somehow there's always one of those. Somehow there's always one of those games that we give up that we shouldn't. So I'll say 2-1 as well, and hopefully we end up 3-0 instead. But yeah, looking forward to all of that and good stuff there on the Lakers side.